Okay, welcome to another edition of Crossing the Middle Ministry. Today, commandment number 4. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. And the thing that this is about is worship. Man has a need inside of him to worship. And that's why we're drawn to so many different things in life, and that places our God. What we worship places our God. I've seen people, man, they go out and they'll love on their cars, I mean, they will rub that thing down and they'll make it shine, and they'll put all their money into it, and people, they do their houses the same way, but no matter, and in that the obstacle gives them certain satisfaction. It's a graven image. It's a graven image. I used to work with this young man who wouldn't have any pictures of Jesus in the house. He says, well, that's a graven image. There's a lot of people that do that. Pictures of Christ in your house is not a graven image. A cross. Some won't even have a cross because they think it's a graven image. Take the place. And I sort of respect that thing in that person, because they want to keep Jesus real, and that's a good thing, But that's not really what worship is about. Worship is about what you hold in your heart at the moment. When we go into a church, some churches never worship. I must say, first of all, some churches never worship. They sing, they pray, they make all the right moves, but they never worship. Because worship comes from the heart. Worship is in a time and a moment and a place where all of your thoughts is in the praise mode, when all of your emotions are fixed on God, and you are bowing and humbling yourself before Him with tears streaming down your face. That's a good description of worship. And see, you can do all the activities, and you can do everyday deeds. You can be a pastor, you can be evangelists, and you can be singers, and you never get to the place of worship. I'm convinced this is a problem with the church today, that some churches just never get to the place where sometimes the pastor has to drag those people into the place of worship every Sunday. I've seen some of the pastor's wife get so mad at the church that she offends people. She'll get up and say things like, "Are you dead? Get up and worship the Lord." And that's not the way that it should be done. With a loving hand, you do it exactly the way Christ did. Man, He had a way. Never a man spake like that man. Getting us into that place of worship. And now listen, this is what worship does. It keeps you tender before God. Somebody says, well, I never worship nothing and I'm all right. Really? You need to think about that statement you just said. Because see, without that thing in our life, we become harder and harder and harder. And we're so cold, and we're shutting ourselves out. And humbling ourselves before God also keeps you humble and sensitive to the things and the people in the world around you. It's so important for us to keep the Sabbath holy. to keep it. Because see, without us keeping it, then the devil's keeping us. You know. So men that don't worship find themselves looking at hospital beds, insane asylums. See, those hard things around you drive your health down. You know, folks that just don't go to church. And see, church is a release of the emotions. Everything takes place inside of you. It takes place chemically that is spiritually driven. Everything that takes place inside of you chemically is spiritually driven. The devil knows that. And if he can keep you away from these things that causes the right chemicals to come out, he can cause your health to fail. He can cause your body to become more and more feeble. He can cause your spirit to become suppressed and leaving you in a state of infancy. You know, like the Bible says, like an infidel. That's exactly what the devil has in mind for you when you don't go to church. You wouldn't think that such a thing can happen, but it takes over a period of years. Now, you go around and you look at the people that go to church and the ones that don't. Man, those ones that go to church is more healthy. After after years of of me going to church, the one thing I can say for sure is that my family is more healthy than other families around me that don't go. And things just seem to work out better when I go to church. You know, people do the right thing, and they're taught, and they're closer to the Spirit. They know. They're more sensitive to, and they're more apt to do the right thing rather than the wrong thing when it comes to God and the life around us, and to the most important things that is in our lives today. And having influence. Man, you will never have the influence that you need to have. Now, I have a lot of family members that don't come around me because I am this way, you know. My neighbors look at me strange when I'm out here making this video. But that's the way the world would do somebody that is, see, we are different. The Bible says God's people are a peculiar people. Nothing wrong with that. We are a peculiar people. And I'm peculiar for God. And I want to stay that way. Matter of fact, I want to become more peculiar than I ever was. And there's family members, a lot of my, not some of my family, a lot of my family won't come around me because my wife and I are like this. And I'm willing to make that sacrifice for this God that I love. And yeah, it's hard. We'll be put through a lot of tests and trials. But you know, the devil comes at everything within you, saying this and saying that, and tries to make us not do the things we need to do. But this is what I need to do. But anyways, okay, so join me again tomorrow where we'll have another great subject right here in Crossing the Middle Ministry.